Good morning. This is the Board of Appeals, Town of Hempstead, February 7, 2024, 9:30 meeting. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
I hope not. However, is there anyone who in the audience who has not been here before? You just ruined my day. All right. So I now have to go through. All right. So the procedures we follow are when we call a case, first we call adjournments. Then when we're finished with the adjournments, we will call the calendar. The way it works at that point is the applicant presents their case. If there are any people in opposition, we'll give them a chance to be heard, and the applicant's attorney or representative will then sum up. And once the case is closed, we will not accept any additional evidence. We have a court reporter. All these proceedings are live streamed, so you can look at them later on if you wish at your leisure. And if there's anything else that I forgot, after saying this about 300 times, forgive me. Right? Let's go.
Okay, we have one request for adjournment, case 8124, Lido Beach, Gene Zerwick, special exception to maintain accessory structure shed not permitted inside yard, also known as 495 Lido Boulevard. It's for defective
Anyone
notice.
here on that? Okay.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Did you get that, Steph? Could you please speak into the microphone so that the court reporter can take it down?
495 LIDO Lido Boulevard, Lido Beach, New York. The zip is 11561.
All right. Defective notice.
So March 27, 2024, 9:30.
27, 2024 at 9:30. Okay? Thank you.
To what extent was the defective notice? You failed to mail out the notice to the public? So that's why it was defective? Okay, and they explained to you that there's a time frame which you have to send out. Don't do it before and don't do it after. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, our first case, 6624 Baldwin, Sherry Ryan, renewal of grant to maintain 6-foot-high fence forward of dwelling on Bayfront Drive, which may substantially obstruct line of sight, also known as 3426 Bayfront Place.
Is there anyone here on this case? The applicant applied for an appearance waiver. It's a residential case. It's a renewal. We will grant the appearance waiver. The building department inspected the premises on November 2nd, 2023, and found that the applicant was conforming to all conditions previously imposed by this board. Are there any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that hearing closed and matter placed on the decision calendar. The applicant will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Aye.
Next case, 6724 through 6924 Wantua, Hassett, Lincoln Mercury Sales Incorporated, renewal of grants, maintain double-faced detached illuminated ground sign, 164 square foot for face and overall size 328 square foot, overall height 36 feet, 8-inch setback, 10 foot from front property line on Sunrise Highway, maintain double fence detached illuminated ground sign, setback 10 foot from front property line on Sunrise Highway, maintain double face detached illuminated ground sign, 88.5 square feet per face and overall size, 177 square feet, overall height 23 feet, 6-inch setback 10 foot from front property line on Sunrise Highway, also known as 3530 Sunrise Highway.
Anyone here on this case? We're going to mark that second call. Yeah, a little more.
Next case, 7024 South Hempstead, Spartan Petroleum Corporation, renewal of grant to maintain one detached, double-faced illuminated ground sign and price sign both attached to existing pole, overall size 138.48 square feet, overall height 18 feet, 8-inch setback, 3 feet from side property line, and on front yard setback on Grand Avenue, located within clear sight triangle and clearance 6 foot 9 inches from grade to bottom of sign, also known as 470 Grand Avenue. Please stand up.
Good morning, Mr.
Excuse me.
Chairman.
Please stand up.
Oh. Absolutely. Oh.
Some people never change.
And why should they?
I agree with you.
Why should they? So good morning, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the board, Kevin O'Brien, Law Office C, 462 Sagamore Avenue, East Coast, New York, on behalf of the applicant. This is an application for renewal of an existing freestanding identification and price sign at the BP service station, which is located just south of the Southern State Parkway on the west side. We're in full compliance with all the conditions that were previously imposed. The one thing I would ask, if that's at all possible, I don't want to be too imposing, but I know the town board has sort of taken over freestanding identification signs at the gas station service stations. They usually consider them as part of a GSS application. And with that in mind, I'm not asking the board to waive its jurisdiction, but perhaps on the renewal, maybe make it 5 years instead of 2 or 3. So just a thought.
Wait, instead of 2, I thought they were all 5.
Are they 5?
Yeah. They don't.
Okay.
So
Then we'll make it
might
5.
consider granting that.
Okay. If you can make it longer, great, but okay, I guess 5 is good.
2.5.
Just for the record, the building department inspected the premises on November 28th, 2023, and found that, as you said, all previously imposed conditions were complied with. Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that hearing be closed, matter placed on decision calendar, Mr. O'Brien. You'll be notified by mail once decision once it's
Okay,
ready.
well, thank you kindly, nice to see you all, have a good day.
You
Likewise,
too.
too.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next case, 7124 Merrick, Craig Hassenbein, variance front yard setback on Lindemere Drive, construct two-story addition and second-story addition, both attached to dwelling, also known as 1933 Brook Park Drive.
Brian Fiore, 208 North Wisconsin Avenue, architect, appearing on behalf of Craig Hasselbein. We are proposing a two-story side addition in a secondary front yard. This property is located in a A-zone where 30 feet is required on corner lots. The front yard we are proposing is 24.98. There's currently a one-story addition into this front yard with prior variance. We are matching that previously approved setback of 24.98. This addition will expand the garage on the first floor by 5 feet, creating a master suite plus one additional bedroom on the second floor.
Wait, sir, so you have a proposed second-story addition and a proposed two-story piece to it. So the portion that's second-story obviously is over the footprint. So could you just tell me again, identify the portion that is outside the existing footprint?
Sure. The second story is.
I mean, I can see it on the
Right, the second story is over the main house, which is, as of right, the two stories basically squaring off that front corner. From the back of the house is the one story that had prior variance, and then the garage is in the front, so that's the two-story portion.
So to square off the house, if you're looking at the site plan, there are 3 sections to that piece. That's why I'm not clear on which one it is. You see how it's got? So is it the whole square off piece?
It's a 5 foot by 19
Okay, so
And then
the
the
whole,
corner is set.
even though it's got 3 lines?
Yeah, so that's the two-story portion.
Right.
Okay, great.
I have a copy of the previous decision.
And the setback that you're requesting for that portion is supposed to be 38, and am I correctly reading that 24.98, is that the number?
That's the number.
Get it on the record.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that is the same as the existing setback. Okay. Would you like to add anything else? Okay.
The prior decision.
We'll take that into evidence. Any other questions from the board?
Move that hearing be closed, Madam Please. On the decision calendar, Mr. Fiore, you'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once ready.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstention?
Thank you.
Next case.
Next case, 7224 Baldwin, Rocio Salguero. Variances, front yard setback on Mary Lane, side yard, construct second story, and cellar entrance both attached to dwelling, also known as 871 Clay Street. Name and address for the record.
My name is Thomas Haupt, H-A-U-P-T, 2310 Hempstead Turnpike, East Meadow, New York, 11554.
Morning. Go.
Okay, we're asking to build a second floor on top of the existing house with a 2-foot cantilever out the back. Strain, you hear me? Better? Okay, so we're asking for permission to build a second-story addition and a cellar entrance without the required front and side yard setbacks. This property is in Zone B, it's a corner lot. The front yard in question is the second side of the building. Excuse me, yes, 25 above. On the front, we have 25. On the second side, we have 11.09. Now, originally, I have an old survey showing that this property was 61 feet wide, and it looks like the road was widened, and the property was diminished, giving us that 11.09 foot setback. The existing is 11.09, correct. That it's in, it's existing 11.09, correct. So, that's the other side, correct, right side. Which, we have an existing 7.9 setback. We're building a 3.66 wide cellar entrance, which gives us a 4.24 setback, which is 9 inches, less than what's required. Yes.
Yep.
I've been to the house. I've been downstairs.
Basement.
The basement has a laundry room, a little computer room, and a recreational area. Which we have plans to maintain that in the building department now. It does, but it's not.
Down. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please be seated and state your name and address for the record.
You've owned the house for 2 years? 3 years, okay. 2 years, okay.
We have an application now to maintain the basement. Correct. I have the application number if you'd like. I have the application number. It is, maintain, finish 23-8303 is the maintain application. 8303.
Does the 6-foot fence have a permit?
Yes. It was a maintain. Maintain fence was 23.
Is this the permit or the?
No, this is
or
the
an
maintain,
application?
no, you got to permit the fence, yes. It was a maintain, but we got the permit issued. Correct.
Hold on, but that's, he gave me an application number for an existing maintain application that was 238303. So I have a hard time believing that that's a permit number.
Me too. That's why I was.
That's the same, that looks like an application number that was filed with the other applications. There's
It was all filed on one time, correct.
But is that a,
I'm not sure that I don't have it with me. The permit was issued for the fence.
Mr. D'Amato and myself for the 8301 and 8303 indicate on the certificate search sheet dated August 22, 2023, that their applications, they're not,
The maintain for the finished basement is an application which is still in the building department waiting to get disapproved because it's a seven entrance. The fence permit was issued already and inspected and signed off.
Really?
it's a 6-foot-high vinyl fence in the front yard like that?
No, it's not in the front yard.
It's on the street, isn't it?
It was on, yes, alongside the,
It fronts right on Verity, it's almost on the property line, actually.
yes. But that permit was issued. Right?
Any other questions from the board?
Is there anything else? Wait, there was one other person signed it, wasn't there?
There is
Someone else signed it?
anyone else on this case? Three people, there were.
Dawn, where's the signature of this case?
Grab it.
I have Mr. Garcia, Mr. I think it's Hapt,
That's me.
And
That's,
Mr.
she's
Sweeney.
the applicant.
Thomas, Hapt,
That's me.
That's him.
Rocchio,
Sweeney.
Garcia, and William Sweeney. Wrong case? Okay.
Okay,
Guys, can we, what's your name, sir?
Sweeney.
Sweeney, okay. Mr. Sweeney signed in on the wrong case, so we gotta get him on the right case. Okay, so
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I would just move, Mr. Chairman, that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll both be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next case, 7324 Merrick, William Sweeney
Mr.
and
Sweeney.
Katia Sepe. Maintain pool equipment not permitted in the side yard.
Thank you.
Also known as 1895
Get
Helen
him to
Court.
sign in. Sweeney's got to sign in. He's the applicant.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please be seated and state your name and address for the record.
William Sweeney, 1895 Helen Court, Merrick, New York.
Thanks. That's why Sweeney signs in on Sweeney's case. It's impressive. Pool equipment, side yard. Okay,
Did he give it?
go ahead, Mr. Sweeney.
Yes, just requesting to maintain pool equipment on the side yard. Just do two things to add. The pool equipment is not visible to any neighbors. No one can see it, and the adjoining westerly neighbor, Sal Vasella, who resides at 1889 Helen Court, has signed a letter saying he has no objection to the equipment being located there.
And Mr. Sweeney, usually when we have
6'5".
equipment in the side yard, it needs relief for being in the side yard, and it also needs relief for encroaching on the required side yard, the side yard setback. In your case, you don't even need that relief. It looks as though you are providing a 6.5 foot,
Yep.
6.5 foot side yard where only 5 is required. So the only variance you seek, which is quite de minimis, is to put it in that side yard. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Mr. Sweeney, you will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Second?
Have a nice day,
All
sir.
in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Next case, 7424, 7524 Seaford. Eric and Samantha Valley, variance, rear yard, construct two-story addition and second-story deck with stairs attached to dwelling, maintain 6-foot-high pool enclosure forward of dwelling, and maintain 4-foot-high improper pool enclosure, 5-foot-high required.
Too many vacations.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Please be seated and state your names and addresses for the record.
thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Regano and members of the board. On behalf of the applicants, Stelios E. Karatsias of Son Ward, Brav Koblenz, Cachignano, PLLC, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Suite 601, Uniondale, New York. Is this is this better? Alrighty. With me today, I have Eric Vallely, the applicant and owner of the subject property. Unfortunately, Mrs. Vallely, Samantha, could not be here today due to the fact she's watching her children. I have with me Mr. Barry C. Nelson, real estate expert of Nelson Realty Group, and I have Mr. Carmelo Mazza, the architect on this project. Prior to beginning my formal presentation, we would like to express our appreciation to the board and the various town departments for their review of this project and application. And at this time, I would also like to hand in any additional green cards that we have received since our submittal of our mailing of the notice of public hearing.
We'll admit those.
To provide the board with a brief background of Eric and Samantha Vallely, They first purchased their home located at 2527 Oak Court, Seaford, New York, also known on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map as Section 65, Block 229, Lot 21, within the town of Hempstead's Residential B zoning district, approximately 10 years ago. The subject property maintains a lot area of approximately 7,377.3 square feet with frontage on Oak Court. And like many homes within the hamlet of Seaford, the rear yard of the Vallely residence is abutting the waterway canal leading to the Great South Bay. Over the course of their ownership, the Vallelys have grown their family with the addition of their 3 lovely children. We have 9-year-old Juliet, 7-year-old son Christian, and their youngest child, 4-year-old Valentina. The Vallely's residence is a traditional high ranch, which is a 2-story dwelling structure with a ground floor, as represented on the site plan, and a first floor, which would be the 2nd story, also represented on the site plan. The ground floor consists of a 2-car garage, a utility room, laundry room, 1 full bath, and a play recreation area for the children. As we proceed upstairs to the 2nd story, you will note that there is 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath, a kitchen, living room, and dining room. The Vallelys take pride in utilizing their property to entertain families and guests, especially during the summer and spring seasons, through the use of their backyard with their pool, barbecue, and dock, which has a lovely view of the canal. As referenced in today's calendar and by notice of public hearing, the application brought before the board today is to respectfully request an approval for a rear yard variance as a result of the proposed construction of a 2-story addition with a 2nd-story deck with stairs, along with a request to maintain a 6-foot-high pool enclosure forward of the dwelling and maintain a 4-foot-high improper pool enclosure. To provide greater detail on the requested relief, the Vallelys are proposing this application to the board as a matter of necessity, not as a matter of preference or desire. As previously mentioned, they have 3 children, and at this current time, 2 of their children are utilizing 1 bedroom and is sharing it at this point because there is not enough space for the growing family. As you can imagine, as children get older, they do require their own space. My cousins shared a bedroom, and let's put it frankly, did not turn out well. To further explain the situation here and the request as put forth before the board, the ground floor level will also be requesting a new space, which will be categorized as a bedroom. I would like to take the time to let the board know that the plans before you indicate that the ground floor is labeled as an office. As these plans were prepared during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Vallely had no knowledge, as many of us did not, to know where things were heading with this world and whether daily life would resume and we would be able to be doing things like we are here today with the presence of one another. Since then, thankfully life has resumed as normal, and he's back in his office. And at this time, the proposed space on the ground floor is serving an even greater purpose. Mr. Vallely's mother, unfortunately, as she is getting more older and her age is increasing, exactly, at 80 years old, she's requiring, more assistance with her daily life and daily activities, in which Eric and Samantha have taken the responsibility of being her caretaker and to watch out for her and to be her eyes and ears. So at this point, the proposed space on the ground floor consists of that bedroom, a full bathroom with a foyer and a rear yard entrance. To advise the board, this is not a mother-daughter application. There is no kitchen or dining area or living room area on the ground level, and it will not be used as a mother-daughter situation whatsoever or application. Another plus of this ground floor bathroom and foyer area with this rear entrance is to act as an amenity for guests that come over the Vallely home to utilize that bathroom as a changing room or, just whatever is necessary to enjoy the pool and the dock and the canal. Excuse me. Due to the applicant's dwelling falling within the FEMA flood zone AE, the plans have been reflected to show that the 2-story addition as proposed complies with the base flood elevation of 7 feet, and the finished flooring elevation of the proposed addition is at 9 feet and 3 inches. The instant application before the board for the rear yard variance is a result of this two-story addition, in which the town of Hempstead's building zoning ordinance, section 72, requires a minimum rear yard setback of 25 feet. The applicants are proposing a 10-foot, 1-inch rear yard setback. It is significant for the board to note that as this property is within a cul-de-sac, the property is irregular shaped in nature and is unlike other parcels that abut perpendicular and parallel roadways. As a result, the applicant's parcel is also burdened by a limited front and rear yard. Additionally, the applicants further request to maintain the 6-foot-high pool enclosure for the dwelling, where 5 feet in height is permitted, is to ensure privacy and safety for the family during their use of their pool and their patio area. Similarly, the applicant's request to maintain a 4-foot-high improper pool enclosure will be withdrawn, as the applicants will be providing a 5-foot-high compliant pool enclosure for fencing area and purposes. I'd also like to inform the board that the applicants have an opportunity to speak with the abutting neighbors as well as neighbors within their cul-de-sac and prescribe the radius and the relief sought here today. At this time, I would like to submit several letters from the neighbors consenting to this application, along with the radius map marking off those neighbors.
We'll accept those in evidence.
Without any further questions, I do have Mr. Barry Nelson here, real estate expert once again of Nelson Realty Group, who I believe the board is familiar with, to provide analysis of the subject property, the proposed application, and its likeness and similarity to the characteristics of the community in the hamlet of Seaford and surrounding hamlets.
Sir, before you do that, can I ask you a question? So I'm sure you're aware, I apologize, is that better? My voice doesn't carry, which mostly they're happy about, but anyways. Whenever we're faced with a case involving a swimming pool and a request to have something less than a 5-foot required fence, it's almost always on a canal or a body of water. And we have in the past looked favorably on some of those requests when the ultimate effect is, yes, it's only 4 feet, but it's on the property edge with the water below, so it gives the same protection that would if it were a 6-foot fence, versus a scenario where someone can be outside the fence, standing at the same grade, and have 4 feet in. In this case, my concern, if I'm looking at this correctly, is I see where the fence is proposed here and how it winds back to the dwelling. But there is an area, like if you were to be at the neighbor's house to the west, there's a walkable area that would theoretically allow a child, which is our concern, to walk there and hop the 4-foot fence.
Yes,
so,
if I may interject, I don't want to waste any more time. We actually stated on the record right now that we're withdrawing our application for the 4-foot fence to maintain, and Mr. Vallely and Samantha Vallely will be providing a 5-foot fence.
Okay, because the other option
address
I
that.
thought would solve it is if the 6-foot fence just went all the way down to the water. Then there's no walkability. In
Yeah.
other words, that would save them
So
replacing the whole fence.
I'll confer with my client, but at this time, he's willing to withdraw the 4-foot maintain and to provide a 5-foot-high proper compliant pool fence
Okay,
enclosure.
sounds good. The only other quick question is, as it relates to the other side of the house?
Yes.
I see the 6-foot fence, goes from the house to that property line, goes back toward the water. On my diagram, it looks like it goes back toward the water and then comes around the corner for, I don't know, 10 linear feet? Does it just end there, or? It's kind of odd. And I'm trying to look at it on the Google Earth map, but I can't really.
So after visiting the property, to my knowledge, the fence just runs on the lot boundary lines of each side of the dwelling. I don't see it.
Does it go all the way to the water?
Yes. Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so on that side, it doesn't
Put it
wrap
on the
around the way
record.
the diagram shows? Okay.
No.
So that side keeps it out. Okay. So then you're saying that your client intends to provide whatever the required fence is in place of that 4-foot fence?
Yes.
And the
said.
pool's already there?
The pool has been there, and it was a subject of a variance many years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so because it's an unsafe situation right now theoretically, do you know when that will be corrected so that
Okay.
If tomorrow someone were to go out there and get over the fence, you know, we would look pretty bad leaving in a known condition without some situation in place to get it rectified
Yeah,
very quickly.
so the benefit is I actually had an opportunity to visit the site. You know, all of the Vallely children have been educated on pool safety, dock safety.
Yeah,
and things
it's
of that
not
na-
for them.
No,
actually.
I understand.
For
And
others.
at this time, the pool is currently closed and wrapped up for the season. There are self-latching gates on the site. And to address your question more appropriately, as soon as the Vallelys are upon the favorable decision of this board,
But our decision will bear on that.
they
So
would
that's something
seek
you
a
need
building
to do right
permit to
away.
make that alteration
Yeah, if
to
you
make a
could get
compliant,
that.
safe fence.
Can you give us some idea, like, this week we'll apply, and as soon as we get the approval, we'll get it in, or something? Some kind of,
Sure, I mean,
okay, whatever you,
Yeah.
the chairman has a
How about
suggestion.
before the pool is open?
I'm sorry?
You won't open,
Before the pool is open, you
Oh,
will
a-
not
a-
open the pool
absolutely,
until you
Chairman, yes.
rectify
So-
that condition?
okay,
Yes,
so,
whatever we need to really make this a safe compliant area, I mean, I believe Mr.
All right,
Vallely
but-
is open to that, especially for the sake of his
but
children, so.
but just so we make our record clear, you and your client agree that the pool will not be open until the proper fence is in place?
Yes,
Fair enough?
yes.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, keep going. Well, my suggestion earlier, but he, was,
Extend the
if I
6
would
foot.
find it acceptable, and we would have to agree as a board, but we've been here doing this for a while, if the 6-foot fence
what's
on that
extended.
side ran all the way to
To
the
the water.
end of the water, it would, I think that would be a condition that would provide the same safeguards as putting a 6-foot fence on the back, because, again, because it's harder to get
Can't
in
access.
in that scenario. So we would, if you would like to amend your application now to do that, then we could deliberate on that when we do our deliberations, if you find that preferable. I mean, I would if it were me, but.
I'm sorry, I'm an attorney, so it's very hard for me to sit back and listen.
So, here, where's the,
You have our condolences.
so,
We won't hold that against you.
That's why I didn't say it.
With respect, may I approach the?
well,
Yes.
actually, what I would say is, John, would you mind having, if that's the, if you want to amend your request, then, if you could put, this is the official, then you can, mark it
Mark
up
it.
and initial it and date it, and then we will, and then you
Deliberate.
can move to dismiss the request, which I guess you already have, basically, for the 4-foot fence, and then that should shore everything up so that when we deliberate, we can deliberate on that too, save you a lot of time.
Thank you. I appreciate the board's recommendation and assistance to make this more feasible. So just to clarify, what you're recommending, Board Member D'Amato, is to have the fence go straight to the end of the property line.
On
to-
Well,
the
we're
west
not
side,
rec-
yes.
Yeah.
Well, not recommending, excuse me.
Yeah.
A potential
I'm
possibility.
We're suggesting that if you wish to amend your request, there you can do it, and then we will deliberate with that in mind, and we'll dismiss at your request,
Thank you.
the request for the 4-foot enclosure.
Since it's been withdrawn.
Yes, thank you. And just for the
Withdrawn,
record, Mr. Carmelo Mazzo, the architect, is making those revisions or amendment to the
Terrific.
plan, as stated.
Good.
Hey, can you mark off that 6-foot wraparound piece too, since you're there? Yeah, you see, it just has that little leg that comes around like a 10 linear feet or something. If it's not there, yeah, shore it up so it's all accurate.
Thank you. And for the sake of preserving time, I'm going to have Mr. Barry Nelson, unless the board has any other further questions for myself.
Good morning, Barry Nelson, 220 Kennedy Avenue, Belmont, New York, 11710.
Brevity counts, Mr. Nelson. Brevity counts.
So, in brevity, I have aerial views of the subject property, location map, and accurate photographs of subject property around users. It's 29 photographs of subject property, the rear yard and surrounding users. third stories, but that's not feasible in this application. In my opinion, the request is reasonable, will not affect the abutting owners or the owners on South Aaron Drive. It's the minimum variance requested, and it all comes about because of the house being situated on a cul-de-sac. You'll see the front yard setbacks on this dwelling are typically is greater than the typical setbacks in the area because of the bend of the road. 36.2 feet on the easterly side, 45 feet on the westerly side. So you have a greater front yard setback, less of the rear. The house had to be set back because of the cul-de-sac situation. As far as the fence forward of the building line, it's almost in line with the house just to the west, and I provided photographs to maintain of that 6 foot PVC fence forward of the building line for the subject property is not going to be detrimental to any of the residences on Oak Street or to the immediate house to the west. Thank you. Area views too. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, and as the board is well aware, in making this determination, the board shall consider whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood, whether the benefits sought to the applicant can be achieved by some other method, whether the requested variances are substantial, whether proposed variances will have an adverse impact on the physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood, and whether the difficulty is self-created. And it is respectfully submitted that granting this variance will not have an adverse impact on the neighborhood, as the addition proposed to this home fits within the character of the neighborhood and will not produce an undesirable change, as many homes within the cul-de-sac and along the canal in the hamlet of Seaford have similar like additions with decks. There is no other means than other requested variance for the applicant to acquire and achieve the benefits sought, as the property is an irregular shaped parcel. The required variances are not substantial in nature of the applicant's lot of 7,370 square feet. The proposed variance will not have an adverse impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood, and as noted in these types of additions and variances are commonplace within this neighborhood. Lastly, finally, even if the hardship is self-created, the requests sought here, we believe, are de minimis in nature and are only possible relief that the Vallellis may have to successfully utilize their properties for their future growing family.
Sir, I forgot to note it. Can you just, for the record? Yes. You want a rear yard variance, what's required, and what are you proposing at your minimum?
Sorry,
I just want to put the numbers on the record. You want a rear yard variance, what's
10 foot,
required, and what are you proposing at your closest point?
yes, that was the rear yard variance as per Town of Hempstead Building Zone Ordinance Section 73 requires a minimum of 25 feet. In this application, we're proposing a rear yard variance of 10 feet 1 inch.
10 feet 1 inch, okay. I thought I saw 920 or something somewhere, so,
No.
okay.
I believe that is from the stairwell, but it's not measured.
Permitted encroachment,
Yep.
okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, Chairman.
Any other questions from the board?
Move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Each of you who've signed in will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you, have a nice day, folks.
Thank you for your time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions?
Next case, 7624 to 7724 Elmont, Webb and Morderline v. Casimir, mother-daughter residence, second kitchen. Variances, front yard setback on Kiefer Street, side yard, maintain awnings, both attached to dwelling, also known as 312 Randall Avenue. Morning. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please be seated and state your names and addresses for the record.
Tina Pangallo, 549 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hempstead, New York, 11552. And your mom.
Webb Casimir, 312 Randall Avenue, Elmont, New York, 11003.
Rita Shal, 312 Wendell Avenue, Elmwood.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. I'm representing Webb Casimir of 312 Randall Avenue in Elmont. The property is located on the northwest corner of Randall Avenue and Kiefer Street in Residence C. We're requesting a variance to maintain a second kitchen for mother-daughter use, or in this case, mother-son use, and a variance to maintain awnings both attached to the dwelling. Webb Casimir, the owner, is living in the primary unit, and his mother, Rita Charles, is living in the secondary unit. There is enough off-street parking for 3 cars to be parked at the home. There is 1 doorbell and 1 mailbox. Mr. Casimir did contact PSE&G, and the second meter has been disconnected, but it hasn't been removed yet. He has been made aware that if this variance is granted, it is only for him and must be renewed every 2 years, and if the house is sold or circumstances change, the kitchen must be removed and a plumbing permit filed by a licensed plumber for the removal. We're also requesting a variance to maintain the awning over the patio in the front yard on Kiefer Street. The front yard setback required is 25 feet on a corner property, and the front yard setback provided is 14.3 feet. This has been there since the homeowner purchased the property in 2006, and it appears that it's been there for quite some time. The side awning over the existing steps built with the original house violates the side yard setback of 5 feet. The side yard provided is 1.52 feet. This has also been there since Mr. Casimir purchased the home, and we're respectfully asking the board to grant these variances.
Hello, just to get a piece of
She went through.
housekeeping onto the record. As I know you know, whenever the board receives a request for a mother-daughter or an immediate family, the Board of Architectural Review reviews it to make sure that the residence is suitable to be used in that fashion and suitable to be converted back to a single-family dwelling at the cessation of such use. Sometimes in that process, the Board of Architectural Review will make recommendations to remove a hip wall or remove a door here or there to make sure that it still is just an immediate family mother-daughter and not being used as a 2-family resident. And then we give you the opportunity to explain why you may or may not be able to do what is recommended. In the case of this application, the Board of Architectural Review has found that it's suitable to be used in this fashion and restorable to a single-family dwelling at the cessation of the use, with the provision that there be no illegal occupancy in the basement. Now, if you said it already, I apologize, I had to, but have you been in the basement?
Yes, I actually have a picture to show that all the walls have been removed. And there's
So was it
nothing.
once an apartment when
Yes.
owned by someone else, or seemingly?
Seemingly. But the plan examiner just requested an archway, but he removed all the walls. See in the picture.
Oh, so I don't.
So it's
Oh, they
open, but-
requested that before the board.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Here's the plan. We'll accept that photograph into evidence. Did you took the photo?
Yes, I did.
And recently?
Yes.
Fairly and accurately represents what it purports to represent.
Right.
Let's see, so. This house has 3 levels, correct?
Correct.
Is the bathroom in the basement the subject of a permit already, or?
Yes, it is.
It's already been permitted, it's not just a ride-along, it's not a pending application.
It's a pending application.
Did you look at the search sheet?
That number, do you want the number?
No, I'll look for the search. How
Okay.
many other pending applications are there?
That's it. We have the mother-daughter, the awnings, the shed is a permit, and the basement is a pending application.
Oh, I'm sorry, awnings, mother-daughter, shed.
Shed and basement.
How long has your client owned the house?
Since 2006? 2009, I'm sorry.
How did your client come to know these items need to be legalized? Part of the mother-daughter, or
No, there was a complaint on the property, correct? Yes.
how long ago, if you know?
3 years, about 3 years.
About 3 years ago, you received the complaint?
What was the complaint? What was the allegation, at least?
The basement was,
An apartment, that was someone claimed.
right.
Doesn't, I'm sure that wasn't true, but I just wanted to know what.
Right.
And as part of that process, was that an actual, did you get a summons for it, or was it just someone called in and complained?
There was a summon.
So did you already complete the court
Yes,
proceedings?
yes.
Okay. Was it only one complaint?
Yeah, I guess, as a lawyer.
Was there
Oh,
more
you had a
than one
lawyer?
complaint?
I'm sorry?
Was there more than one complaint? You don't have to tell me how many, but just, was there one only or more than one?
There was when I bought the house, there was a kitchen on the second floor. So,
There was a prior mother-daughter.
I guess that was a complaint also, because I believe the original owner, it was a mother-daughter. When I bought the house,
It
there
seems
was
so.
a kitchen. Yeah, there was a kitchen. The kitchen remains. So as a result of that,
So, when you bought the house, there was a kitchen on the second floor, a kitchen on the first floor. Was there a kitchen in the basement also?
yeah,
Okay, because that was the subject of the complaint, was the kitchen in the basement.
correct.
Or the,
Could've been.
Something, yeah.
and that kitchen's been removed.
Everything removed.
Okay.
I have the
Per the
counts
photo.
if you wanted to look at them.
Is there
That's
an-
pretty much what it is regarding the basement.
Is there an exterior basement entrance?
There is.
Yes, there is.
There is.
Building permit,
I didn't see that.
Mr. Pellegrini.
There is. I don't. Oh, that one in enclosure.
I think that was built with the original house, and on the original.
In
Yeah,
on the westerly side, westerly yard?
yeah, this is the original survey from 1966 with the cellar entrance.
Yeah, so, you just hit on what I was just looking at. So there's a current application to maintain the finished basement with the bathroom. And parenthetically, outside entrance was building permit 1966.
See that?
This,
Yeah.
this is this one up here, the original house.
It's just 66, so it shows it.
They don't have any elevations, Ms. Penga.
Oh, okay, the original survey that he
Yeah, one
has
of the
shows the
elevations.
cellar entrance built with the original house?
Right.
Yeah.
Dated 1966.
Well, wait, was the house built in 66?
Yes, it was.
For the variance.
Okay, so how many doors to the exterior are there? There's the cellar entrance, there's the front door.
There's the rear
Rear
door.
door.
The rear what, Ms. Penga?
The rear door?
Rear door.
The first floor, so the first floor is the front, and then that, what we're going for a variance for the awning over that rear door. Well, I'm sorry, side,
Side door.
it's a corner, but I'm calling it the rear, but actually, I guess it's a side yard.
Let's see.
The cellar entrance is on the right-hand side, and I'm looking
What
at
you
the
look-
house on the front.
Correct.
Yes.
And then that rear entrance, that goes in just to the first floor. It's hard to tell without elevation.
Yes.
Just mother and son. on the
So that
application.
rear door goes directly into the kitchen, and then the stairs to the basement are on the other part of the house.
Excuse me, did you say this house is three-story with a basement?
Basement, first floor, second floor.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, attic. Pull down attic. Yeah. My door.
You gave him the, only one,
She recited it.
and it's for you and no one else.
She stated that. That concludes your,
Yes.
okay. So any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would just move that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Pangallo, you and both of your clients will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you, folks, for coming, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention?
Next case, 7824 West Hempstead, Heather Medica, variance, lot area occupied, construct two-story addition and masonry patio with roof over, both attached to dwelling, also known as
Thank you, Dawn.
352 Hamilton Avenue.
What?
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes, I do. Please be seated and state your name and address for the record.
Jean Stevens,
Second-story addition.
124 Haley Drive, Center Moriches, New York, 11934.
Talk. Take
Good
a
morning,
seat.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board.
Morning.
Representing Mrs. Heather Medica of 352 Hamilton Avenue, Hempstead, Residential B Zone, Section 33, Block 335, Lots 34 and 35. She is requesting a board approval to construct a rear two-story addition that is 7.1 by 12.1 feet, which is 85.21 square feet. Also, a masonry patio with a roof over that is approximately 6 feet by 24 feet, replacing an 8.1 by 10.6 masonry patio, adding an additional 58.08 square feet. Existing lot coverage on the existing property as it stands right now is 28.18%. Being requested is 31.74%, which is 3.56% over the existing lot coverage and over the allowable 27.5-foot lot coverage by 4.2%. The additional square footage being added to the allowable lot coverage is 169.76 square feet. Mr. and Mrs. Medica are adding a full second-story addition with a complete first-floor renovation. The rear addition will become part of the first-floor kitchen and the second-floor new bedroom number 1. The renovation to the dwelling will conform to all the other homes on the block that have second-story additions as well. The house is in complete compliance in all the other town zoning and building codes, except for the fact that it's over the lot coverage. Mr. and Mrs. Medica have obtained consent letters from all of their abutting neighbors who are much affected by the renovation and addition, and they are looking forward and hoping that the board will look favorably on their variance request.
Miss, just out of
Yes.
curiosity, I opened the plans and I thought I was looking at the plans from the prior case and they'd have gotten mixed
It
up.
sounded just like it,
Because there's a basement removal plan, a first floor removal plan, and now I hear that you mentioned something about renovations. Just out of curiosity, what is being removed from the basement? What was there?
It's a finished basement with had a laundry room down there, which is now going to be relocated to the second floor. There's a bathroom down there, and the finished basement and the bathroom are going to be applied in an application going forward with the addition. You know, the whole thing will be under one application for all the bathrooms, for all the new kitchen. The house is completely going to be gutted on the first floor. All the bedrooms are going to be added to the second floor with the bathroom and a laundry room. They're going to have a nice big kitchen downstairs on the first floor, a much larger living room. There will be one bedroom remaining on the first floor, and that's pretty much.
This is an actual basement, right? Basement first, second?
First basement,
Sometimes
first,
they look-
second.
they're really
Yeah,
just-
no, basement, first floor. I have an aerial shot, though, of also of houses that are across the street that are all, have second-story additions.
Yes.
And personally, if you look at the elevation
it.
of this proposed new house, is very simple, very nice and neat, and looks,
just gonna square
to my opinion, considerably a lot nicer than the houses that are already there that have the second-story additions.
Okay, so wait, you're
Makes
planning
sense.
to square it off, the section you're squaring
Right,
off,
that one
right?
little, right, one little piece in the back.
Hold on, so that's
seven-
the two-story addition. Now,
Yes.
there's no second-story addition before us, I don't believe.
No, there's
So
already.
you're not putting a second story on top of the existing one-story?
Yes, we're putting a second story on top of, yes. We're adding a second story addition.
That doesn't need a variance for that.
No, it does not need a
because it's
variance.
existing.
Right. It's just that little bump out in the corner, that's 7 feet by 12 feet is requiring the variance and brings us over the lot coverage.
But the,
It doesn't affect the footprint.
because we're here for lot area occupied, so if she doesn't affect the footprint, she doesn't need lot area occupied. Because usually if you add something to a if I wanted to put, if I needed a side yard variance for that, like let's say that's a side yard, and I want to put a second level on top of the side yard, it's already in a variance requirement condition, I need side yard for that too.
Yes.
But why, so why doesn't she need lot area occupied for the second story?
Because it's already existing footprint.
I know, I realize that, but wait,
covering the same
hold on.
amount of land.
I know, but if I have this footprint, and this is a 4-foot side yard, and I wanna put a second story right here, and I have to have side yard for that,
Because this further aggravates the side yard.
why?
It's taller,
Okay,
it's the same
and why does
air
this
space.
further aggravate lot area occupied, because it's taller, taking up that area?
No, it's not taller, it's the same footprint. It's
No, but
taller,
it's
but it
taller,
doesn't matter.
the same as this.
I
Okay,
understand, it's,
no, but we don't.
It's-
I know, I don't disagree with you, I just wanna make sure I understand, because I would've thought just like this scenario, cause I'm not further encroaching, but it makes it more of a, it's a bigger bulk.
it's an
in this,
son would've gotten
and this is a bigger bulk on the occupied.
it's a Macintosh and a gradient.
Probably did algebra.
Same thing. I get it though, I understand your thinking.
You see what I'm saying?
That's more algebra.
Yeah, I just was curious, because usually if you have a first level, if I have a first level that needs a side yard setback and it's existing, if I wanna put another level on top of it, I need a side yard variance for that, even if it's not further encroaching.
Right.
So in the case of this piece that already needs lot area occupied, right, because putting another level on it, I get, doesn't further expand it, but it makes a bulk,
Right.
a new bulk in in a variance area. So
Right.
that's why I wanted to
Right.
check
Well,
with
yeah, the
Mr.
town of
Pellegrini.
Hempstead doesn't have a floor average ratio, where this would become a big problem with the second story being floor average ratio, but the town only goes along with lot coverage.
Oh, okay.
It's just the rear corner that's being bumped out, that's two-story, that's creating a variance.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's it,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Move the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Ms. Kennedy will be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's rendered.
Thank you very much.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you, have a good day.
Next case, 7924 Belmore. Evelyn Paknos and Konstantinos Kontoyanos.
Any shed?
Special exception to maintain accessory structure shed larger than permitted and exceeding horizontal maximum, also known as 2013 Charles Street. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please be seated and state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Evelyn Paknos, 2013 Charles Street, Belmore, New York, 11710.
How can we help you?
I'm just asking for permission to maintain the shed that's in our backyard. To my knowledge, it's been there for more than 20 years. And we're just looking to get the paperwork to maintain it.
Do you know how large it is, the shed?
I don't, but I know that it's on the plot plan.
Okay, so when the sheds have 3 parameters besides where they're located
That's big.
that govern what's allowable as of right and what might need relief. The height can be 9 feet, up to 9 feet. Any side can be up to 12 feet. That's called a horizontal maximum. And the size overall is not to exceed 144 square feet. So just so we can get it on the record.
Right.
It looks as though
Yeah.
It looks as though one side of your shed is 10.2 feet, which would not exceed the horizontal maximum allowable. The other side, can you read that?
I'll hold it. 15.9?
If-
15.9?
Does it sound about right, 15.9?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
That
side
exceeds.
obviously exceeds the 12-foot allowable by 3 feet, 3.9 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Height?
The height, let's see if we can
it's not gonna be on here.
Well, sometimes they have a cross-section. I'll calculate the size, and we're trying to find so the allowable size is 144 square feet, and you have 10.2 times 15.9.
Looks like the overall height, 8.4 feet.
Okay, so
You don't,
your,
you
so
don't need a
the
height.
size, if I calculated correctly, 10.2 times 15.9 is 162.18 square feet over the 144 by the amount, do the math. And then the height, which is allowed at 9 feet, appears to be proposed.
It's only
at
8.4.
8 feet 4 inches,
Yeah, you don't
which
need
is
anything.
consistent with the fact that you don't have a
Correct.
request here for a height variance.
height.
If you said it already, I apologize. How long has the shed been in its
More
current?
than 20 years.
Okay.
We actually purchased the home 3 years ago, and it was there, but I've inquired through paperwork and such that it's been there for more than 20 years.
How did you come to know it needed to be legalized? Was it the purchase itself, or did something else trigger?
No, actually, we hadn't purchased it. What happened was when we moved in, there was a complaint against the living fence in the perimeter of the property.
It's here.
We've since removed most of those trees. We've left a few, but it's no longer a living fence. But in
Got the
going,
haircut in the middle?
yeah. And basically, in going through that process, they were inquiring about the shed. I thought it was fine because it was on the paperwork, on the plot plan and everything. They told me that it didn't have a permit, and that's what I'm here to pretty much
Fine.
get permitted. Okay?
Do you have a gazebo in the back?
A gazebo? No.
What's,
We had like a tent almost, but we've since taken it down because it kind of got ravaged with the wind. But it was just like a
Temporary
thing we purchased from Home Depot.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure.
You show on your plot plan,
Yeah.
fence application withdrawn,
Right.
but is there a fence on the property that
Yes.
you were gonna replace with this withdrawn fence?
No. The neighbor has a fence that's there, standing between the two properties. We were proposing to put a higher fence just to maintain some privacy, but we've withdrawn that, being that we've taken down the trees and we've kind of just given up that fight.
So the proposed 7-foot, it is withdrawn.
It is withdrawn, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
You have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't.
Any other questions from the board?
Thank you very much.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case.
Next case, 8024 Levittown, Thomas and Shannon Piccione. Variance, side yards aggregate, construct second-story addition, two-story addition, and attached garage to dwelling. This is a rehearing of case number 369 of 21, also known as 119 Sprucewood Drive.
Why is, Dawn, do you know why this case is on for a rehearing? Why is it not for a rehearing?
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please be seated, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ashley Love from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York.
Morning. So tell us if, if this case differs from the case that was presented in 2021, and if so, in what respects is it different? Or is it the exact same case?
It's the exact same case,
And
just
the-
after the notice of decision was granted back in 2021. The architect who was handling the project at that time retired as a result of COVID, and the permit was never picked up. Our office signed on to complete the project at the end of 2023, and we filed with the, just an updated set of our plans, but everything remains the same. It is just the proposed side yard aggregate does not meet the required 15-foot minimum, requiring a variance for 1.32 feet.
So the, it's exactly, and the board granted that case?
Yes, I have a copy of the notice of decision if you'd like it.
Yes, that would be helpful.
Take that
Thank
in
you.
evidence. Want a break? Okay. Yep.
I thought they might need more than one.
That's what I planned on doing. Thank you. Outside, applicant's plans. Joe, you want to see this? It's the same application. I believe that concludes your case.
Yes.
Any other questions from the board?
I would just move, Mr. Chairman, that the hearing be closed, that the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You'll be notified by mail of the board's decision once it's ready.
Second?
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed, any abstentions? We're going to take a 10-minute break so that we can give the court reporter the opportunity to flex her fingers.
Yes.
We'll be
It's a
back.
rehearing, it's
Is
exactly
that
the
the
same.
correct time? I can never tell.
It's a fence.
We'll be back
I
at
believe.
10 after 11.
It was granted with unanimously as requested. No, the rehearing was granted. They never picked up the permit.
Just want to take counsel here.
guess I'm gonna have to talk real loud. It's all right. It feels good, though. No, you stay. Keep it simple. I know.
Okay, our next case,
move
8224 to 8324, near Valley Stream. Dimitri Uspensky, variances, lot area occupied, side yards aggregate, maintain roof over open porch attached to dwelling, maintain 8-foot-high chain link fence and living fence both forward of the dwelling,
Oh, this is gonna be
also
an
known
inspect.
as 1116 Strathmore Street. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Please be seated and state your name and address
Thank
for
you
the
very
record.
much. Good morning, Board. My name is Robert Litt, 66 North Village Avenue, Rockville Center,
Mr.
New York, 11570, Litt Law Group. Good morning,
Morning.
everybody. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to meet with all of you and present our applications. We are counsel for the Upenskis, owners of 1116 Strathmore Street in Valley Stream. We are here today to discuss two separate variance applications. One application seeks a variance to maintain an enclosed porch attachment to my client's home. Variants are needed for lot area occupied, side yard, and side yard aggregate. The other variance we're here for today seeks to maintain a 6-foot-high chain link fence and a living fence forward of the dwelling.
Excuse me, Mr. Litt,
Yes, sir.
did maybe I didn't hear it correctly. Did you say it's an enclosed porch?
Yes, it's an enclosed porch, yes.
You have an application to maintain a roof over an open porch.
I'm sorry, I did not hear you say that. I can't. I
I'm
apologize.
sorry.
That's all right.
You have an application to maintain a roof over an open, not a closed porch.
No, yes, an open porch, yes. a
And
roof
the
to maintain over an
photographs
open-
would indicate that it's an open porch.
It's a covered porch. I apologize if
Okay.
I misstated.
Thank
you
you.
very much. My associate was kind enough to correct me. Thank you.
Okay.
For this application, seeking to maintain the covered porch, not an enclosed porch, variances are required as follows. My client's proposing a 5'9" side yard, while 8.5 is permitted. Client's proposing an 18.1 foot side yard aggregate, while 25.5 is permitted. My client's proposing a 30.29% lot coverage, while 27.5% is permitted. Which one, for the
Lot area
aggregate?
occupied.
For the, sure, it's 30.29% is what my client's proposing,
Yes.
and the lot cover, and obviously it's 27.5 is what's permitted by the code.
What are the numbers on the aggregate?
Sure, I'll repeat those again. The aggregate is 18.1 feet side yard aggregate my client is proposing, and 25.5 is permitted. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the applicant seeking to maintain an 8-foot-high chain link fence and living fence both forward of the dwelling, the variance is required as the code provides that any fencing forward of the front building line should be no greater than 4 feet in height. Now, I want to bring to the board's attention the fact that the board has previously approved similar applications for covered porches and front fencing in the front, in particular. One location at 12 Pearl Street and at 52 Stratmore Street, also down the block from the subject property. And I have copies of the approvals for both those from the town.
We'll accept those in evidence. Mr. Litt, I'm trying to, on the site plan,
Yes,
identify this fencing, I can't, usually like it's a dash dot or something. Is
Yeah.
it, I only see one set of lines going around the perimeter and they're dashes. Is that all fence? Is that the property
The
line?
fence is inside and the living fence is outside, because obviously
Wait,
they're
inside what?
inside the living
Property.
fence. You have an 8-foot fence inside.
So it's
the-
just that little play area?
Yes, yes.
That's the entire fence you're here for?
That is the fencing area, yes, where they have hockey and a basketball court. Yes, correct.
What is the size of that area? I can't, let me find it.
I do have my architect here to if you have specific information that you would like to.
16 by 20.
16 by 20, yes. Thank you very much. Sorry, I have my architect here, Young Yoon. If you have any particular questions for Mr. Yoon, he could be here to assist.
Excuse me, please stand.
Yes.
Why isn't that play area in the back?
Thank
State
you.
your name and address for the record.
To also assist the board for the two previously approved applications, which are similar to our application today at 12 Pearl Street and 52 Strathmore Street. We provided photos to the board as well to be admitted into evidence to give them at least a view so they can exactly see that it is similar to the subject. Thank you very much.
And the board approved them that you're submitting?
Yes, sir. And that's why we also provided the building permits and the approvals for both of them as well. It's
Okay.
also been submitted to evidence.
And
yes.
are there conditions that were attached to those approvals?
Some of them I couldn't tell because the information wasn't entirely clear, but we did see it was approved, so if there are conditions, it was hard to get that in time. Sometimes it takes a little difficulty getting the FOIL request
Okay.
approved to get the specific details as the conditions. But there could be, I don't want to say there's not.
Right.
This thing needs to be right here.
Furthermore, when the facts are considered, oh, I'm so sorry, did you have another question? I apologize.
I wanted to ask, what type of play activities are going on in the front there?
In that particular play area, there's a basketball court, and there's also a hockey net where the kids can play in the back over there. Today, I also have brought the skis, they're sitting over here, so if there's anything specific, you can ask them in those questions, but those are the two main activities that are occurring there as well.
How old are the children?
12 and 15.
Mr. Litt?
Yes.
If it's already
What
been
is
said, I
this?
apologize.
That's okay.
That's
You
not
know,
on this
if you look at the site
application.
plan,
This is
um,
Pearl Street.
my knee-jerk reaction is, why isn't it in that location in the back? Because this is a
you're
pretty, this
confusing
is
me.
kind of a heavy lift to put this kind of thing in the front yard.
Same
It's
thing
not even
here.
a side yard, but it looks like it would fit perfectly. If I cut it out right now and stuck it on the back, that's where this really belongs.
I believe they have a pool back there.
Well, there is, but it doesn't go in the space. If you look at it, you could pick it right up and stick it back there. I mean, if I were to illustrate it by cutting.
I
out-
understand. I'm looking at the plan. It possibly could be lifted up if you want to and put it down over there. But from what I understand, I guess that was the location that they said this is a maintained. They've had this for a couple of years now.
How long?
2 years, 2 to 3 years, yes.
How did they come to know they need to legalize it? Someone complained?
No, what happened was, there was a fire a few years back, and when they rebuilt the decking for the covered porch,
82.
the covered porch needed to seek the necessary variances, and at that point, they realized, you know what? If I'm gonna get my approvals for the covered porch, I got the approvals for everything else. So there wasn't any complaints that were filed by anybody. We'll also make note that, and I'll be providing this information to the board, as we will do right now. We, believe it or not, have letters from all the neighbors, both adjacent and otherwise. And what we did was to give the board an idea where these neighbors are located. They were all, essentially, as you can see from this board here, the subject being in green. All the neighbors from those letters are all surrounding the property. They have not objected to it, this process, and even actually written letters in support of these applications. Purple house, the purple homes are the ones with the letters. Yes, ma'am. Yes. They're good with it. I don't object to it. The letters are actually there. You can actually read the letters there. I don't know what that feels like, but I know the purples are all the 5 letters. And they indicate that the neighbors have not objected to this and actually said we have no problem with it. Thank you. I thought it was nice. Yes. Thank you.
You're,
Thank you. Just to further illustrate, because I enjoy building these, particularly with my children.
you should have been a teacher.
That's okay, no problem. I have a teaching degree out there, but I became a lawyer in
Yeah, it's too late now, huh?
As you can see, the two locations on Strathmore and on Pearl Street, the ones that I had provided the approvals previously, this is the subject in purple. These are the two homes located here, their location to the subject, just so you have an idea in the relationship to it. You see other blue dots here as well. The two to the north of the subject, they had covered porches that were approved as well, also similar to what the subject is requesting. And the ones that are south, this one, the other one, all had front located fencing that were extra large, that were larger than the code permitted, that the board had approved. So again, we wanted to sort of give the board an idea that, and this is going to flow into the comments that are being provided by my expert at Fraser, that this has not changed the character of the neighborhood, that these type of construction is very, very common in
Is your appraiser going to give us photographs of those?
Yes.
Those fences?
Yes, it's all included in his report on every one of these.
All right, do we have that yet, or are we going to get it?
I'm gonna give that to you right
No,
now.
that's okay. If you had it, I knew you already, I was going to look at it.
Not a problem. And he is also here today to answer any questions that the board may have as well. Okay? Even though his report is all-inclusive, we figure have him here to answer any questions that the board may be interested in doing. They're all colored. It's fine. I'm going to continue, if you don't mind. When these facts are considered as a whole, the board will undoubtedly see how minor these variances requests are. Particular variance applications meet or exceed the requirements for granting the area variances requested. And I'll touch very briefly on the 5 relevant factors. We all know them quite well, but I'm putting those into the record just so we have them here. Granting the area variance will neither cause a detriment to nearby properties nor cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. As indicated by the report I just submitted into evidence by my appraiser, Mark DeVella, there'll be no negative impact to the directly adjacent neighboring properties. As you can see also with the letters, the neighbors did not complain and actually had no issues with this. And Mr. DeVella will also indicate in his report that the granting variances will absolutely have no desirable change to the character of the neighborhood overall for either the covered porch nor the fences. In fact, many of the neighboring property has a similar, even more extensive side yard and lot area occupied infringements, as well as similar front yard and living fences, as I also presented, which is in his report. So you will see that all the pictures are there as well, too, for all of you.
We'll accept it. We'll accept the report into evidence.
Thank you very much. Again, the benefit sought by our client cannot be achieved by any other feasible method other than the area variances that are being requested. The benefit sought by my client is a covered porch attached to his home, can't be moved to other location. As to the fencing, my client tried to coordinate the best possible location for the play area and for his children to have a safe area to play. The requested area variances are not substantial. The covered porch is not substantial, but rather a slight deviation from the code as stated previously. The code specifically allows for the fencing forward to the client's property. He's seeking to maintain a higher fence that's allowable, as well as the living fence. Number 4, the proposed variance should not have any adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. Mr. DeVella in his report mentions that as well. And obviously, the last point, while the alleged difficulty is self-created, it's not dispositive. Does not preclude the granting of such variances. I've already provided the board with the letters from the neighbors. And like I said, I do have my architect, Young Yoon, here to answer any questions specifically regarding the project. I have our appraiser here, Mr. DeVella, who can answer any questions, and I also have the owners here as well to answer any specific questions the board may have. And that's all I have to present here, because obviously, based on the foregoing, it's our position that we respectfully request that the board grant the requested area variances that are before them here today. Thank you. Yes.
Stupid question I have.
No stupid questions.
As you know, normally a side yard's supposed to be 5,
Yeah.
and then factoring in the aggregate issue, right?
Yes.
And then when you have the property that has a wider front width, then we get into the percentage, right? And I'm just trying to follow here. In this case, it seems that by looking at the chart you provided, that the side yard on the right is required at 17 and the side yard on the left is required at 8.5. And then it says what's existing and what's proposed. But if you do the calculation for the required side yard, leaving aside aggregate for a moment, wouldn't it be required the same on each side, like as a fundamental starting place?
You want to fund that question?
Do you understand my question? I know, name and address. What is it? Christie?
Could you clarify that question?
I guess maybe I could maybe clarify a little bit easier. That's no problem.
Because it's 50% of, so
You're supposed to have 25 feet, and you're only giving 18. And you say the only best way to do it is you couldn't really put this on the other side based upon the location of where the kitchen is and everything else. Is that correct? The kitchen's over
Right,
here?
right.
So that's why you put it over here. Otherwise, you really couldn't make it work. So when they did the side yard dynamic, was the only place to really put it was over here. You know what I'm saying? So here's the 5.9 where 8.5 is permitted. So you put this in here. You know what I'm saying? So, right, it's 5.9?
right, the 5.9 where, and then the previous deck was 5.1.
Right.
And then the aggregate is,
I think it's 18.1.
right.
Which she's supposed to have 25. I got it.
Right.
I got it. Okay, so I'll explain that. Leave this here for now. It's okay. I just want to understand what you want. No, this is fine. This is absolutely positively fine. I just want to answer the board's question once they ask. And I'll explain to her in a second. It's fine. See, I know, I see we have it everywhere as an enclosed.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to check and see from two people who know more about, so what I'm trying to say is,
Yes.
as a starting place for analyzing a side yard, we always say, you know, if you don't fall out, if you fall in the regular group, side yard is required 5 on each side, and then we get into, but you gotta have an aggregate of 15 and all that, right?
Of course.
So, using that same framework, when we start out with this 85-foot wide parcel and say, okay, you don't fall into the 5 and 5, you fall into a different
Correct.
number, and we calculate that by percentages or something.
Yes.
So I feel that that initial starting place would be, okay, an 85-foot wide property, side yards required at 12 feet each side. And then, of course, that's going to be slightly altered when you get into the, applying the aggregate issues
Right.
on top of it. In this one, I look at where I would normally find a 5 and a 5, and then it's going to tell me what you propose. And in this one, it says on the right, 17 is required. I mean, it says permitted, but 17 is required. And on the left, 8.5 is required for the side yard without getting the aggregate. And I don't see how that is. I don't understand why the starting place isn't, at 85-foot wide, side yard's supposed to be 12 feet each. They'd be the same on each side for the starting place.
It should be, but unfortunately, when you have older homes, you don't know where, when you try to, when you're doing construction, especially when you had the kitchen, which is located where the covered porch is, they put the porch off the kitchen, obviously, for the ease of, to bring the food out and everything else. They did that. It works out that way with older homes. Right. 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 What does the ordinance say, though? Is there a larger 85 on the side? Hold on.
It's a percentage base. I don't have that. I can look it up real quick, but,
It says here,
so,
this is Residence B?
yes, it's Residence B. Right, so Residence B, it's a percentage base saying that, your permit 25.5, so we could do that.
What's the
number.
percentage on this? You know that better than me.
So hold on. So 25.5 divided by 85, so 0.3, right? That's good.
So I'm just trying to understand.
that's the thing, right? So side yards, okay. So side yard basically says in the case of lot with front yard setback at least 50, but less than 60. So we're not that.
No.
We're at the 60 but less than 80. No, we're at number 4, subtext number 4, which is 80 feet but less than 90 feet. The required minimum side yard setback shall not be less than 30%.
30%. So
Right.
30% of 70, of 85 is what?
Which is 25.5 feet.
Okay, 25.5
Right,
feet.
so then-
And she's saying you're supposed to do like 12 and a half feet per side, I guess? Is that if you know? It's 25.5, which is based upon what did he say, 20%? Is it 20%?
30%.
30% of the 85, so. Of the 85, of the 85.
Is 25.5.
25.5, which is on the plans. And that side yard aggregate based on that would be 25.5. We only have the 17.3.
The aggregate is 25.5. That's what the code said in the subtext.
8.5. 8.5.
So the required, so the, so the code says 50% of, one side
8.5.
cannot be less than 50% than the other side. So you take 25, you divide that by 3.
Right.
Right? And then that,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So then that gives you the minimum.
It's 8.5. The young lady over there is
Yeah.
putting it out. Yeah, 8.5, I believe, is the number. Yeah, it's fine. And we were 5.9. No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. It's the same exact thing up there. I'm looking at this. You can leave this with me, it's fine. Yeah. So, yes, 18,
Right, so one side has to be
8.5.
8.5 and the other side has to be
17.
correct. Right.
Let me ask, would this be helpful? This is actually from
Because it says it on the chart. That one side has to be 17 and the other side has to be 8.5.
I could submit it, it would be helpful if they know that, because that's the information that they have. Yes, if they wanted to, absolutely, we'll submit it, no problem. Just trying to be helpful. Is that helpful to you? All right, thanks. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. So this checking your math.
Right.
They're just checking your math that
Right.
this is accurate, that's all.
Right, but all you do is you divide by 3 and that's.
No, it's fine, it's on your plans.
Right.
It's on the plans. I mean, if it's 5.9 on one side and then. Yes. Would that be helpful? Would you like me to have that submitted? No. You sure? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yes. No. No. Correct.
Right, it's the 17 feet and the 8.5 is that.
No, it couldn't be different numbers, because if you do any other numbers, then you wouldn't be 50% of the other side.
Okay, listen, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so we understand, right, because one side is 5.9, the other one is 17. Right.
Correct. Yes, right. Oh, right, so this number kind of... Right.
Good, thank you. That's fine. I have nothing further to add to the board. I think I presented everything that they need to make a determination, and I've submitted all the necessary evidence that I've provided to them. And we're here to answer questions. Any other questions that any of the board members may have?
Go ahead.
Again, we're here to really, we presented our information, and we're here to answer any questions that the board may have.
I do.
Yes, please.
Personally, I don't think the board would be totally offended about the covered porch in the side yard.
Agreed.
I think that's, in my opinion, I think that will probably be approved, just
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yes.
But the recreation area in the front is not good. That changes the area character. Because
Well, but not necessarily, only because, like I said, we've submitted evidence that they have
how far,
play areas in the front that they have.
how far away were those from this location to consider area character?
As again, we actually provided this particular map. And again, this one's literally across the street. That one has an area in front of the front of the property also being utilized, as well as down the line.
You submitted a picture?
Yes, we did. It's in Mr. DeBella's report, Mark DeBella's report. We include all the information that it does fit within the character, because it's happened essentially all of these particular dots that you see, 1, 2, 3, all of these dots included that they were all locations front of the property where people are utilizing those areas, including the two that I indicated actually not only had the front, but also the back.
That sticks in my craw, it's going to be a basketball court. They've been problems in communities throughout. I'm surprised people haven't come in and say, go ahead.
Sure, Mr. DeBella, do you have something to add to the comment? Excuse me, I think he needs to be, please, go ahead. He's got to be sworn, sorry. I apologize.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Mark DeVella, INC Services, 11 Buchanan Street, Freeport, New York. I'm the assessor in 3 separate municipalities. I testify in over 1,200 Supreme Court cases annually. I'm adhered in front of this board and other boards as well. With regards to...
Wait a minute, it's up to Mr. Regano.
Have there been any changes since to your qualifications since the last time you testified before this board as an expert?
No changes in my qualifications. They remain the same, and they're all active education.
And to what extent are you going to testify about what?
Right.
I actually did a physical inspection of the area. I wrote the report. I visited the property. I've seen the location.
You're familiar with New York State Town Law 267B, the 5 criteria that we must consider in
I
granting
do,
variance.
and they are opined in my report. If you'd like me to read from my report directly for the record.
I don't think you have to.
Okay.
We've accepted it in evidence.
With regards to the play area, and this is where I think the board's questions come in, that area...
Only me.
Excuse me, sir?
Only I asked the question.
Okay, well, it's a concern, I think it should be addressed properly. So, that is hemlocks that surround an 8-foot fence where there is a concrete foundation that's poured, and then on top of that concrete foundation, there are 2 separate hollow levels of flooring that are similar to boat flooring that have the slightest elevation. So when a basketball bounces on that court, for example, the sound is actually trapped and goes through the double layer of tiling that is there. It encapsulates and it is reverberated to the edge of the hemlocks, and the sound is actually captured.
I think you're going beyond your
Wait,
scope.
no, I want to hear this.
It actually suffocates the sound of a slapstick, a ricocheting puck in there. He's using real pucks. In my photos, there are over 24 pucks on that hockey floor.
Wait, you're testifying to this because you've seen this done? Because you don't, he's right, you aren't qualified as an expert, at least before us, to sound, but if you are just testifying that you have been there and seen it done and heard that the sound doesn't go out, right?
This is true.
Observation, okay.
This is true.
And what is that stuff called that's on the ground?
So it's usually so he's got a cement foundation, it's usually boat flooring. It's elevated about 1/8 of an inch before you get to the tile, and it's hollow, so.
What's it called again?
Boat flooring is.
Boat flooring.
Right. So it's hollow, and it's got a honeycomb type shape to it. You can see it in the photos and the exhibit that Mr. Litt gave you where the photos are
But
blown
he's
up.
testifying observations, that's why, because I wanted.
Did he lift up the?
Wait, no, but he was there when it, is it made of wood?
What was that?
What is this boat flooring made of? Rubber, wood?
It's a hard rubber plastic blend, and there's 2 layers of that, not 1. So
Were you there when it was installed? Were you
I
there?
physically
How did you?
inspected it, and I took close-ups in my report.
And you have the X-ray vision to see how it was compiled underneath the top?
You can see that from
No, but
coming
he's
down.
just
I
gonna-
was
wait.
actually in the area.
Hold on.
I don't mean to be adversarial.
No, hold on.
I just think at this point,
Outside your expertise, you want to testify that you were there and you counted and you could observe, but other than that, stay within the scope.
So, getting back to the scope of the application,
Yeah, I'm just trying to, but,
getting back to the scope of the application, if I may.
yeah.
You may.
So-
Just a second, okay, so I'm just trying to, I'm not looking against you here, okay? Okay, so, go ahead and testify to the observation. And go ahead and go with, in your expertise too now, okay?
The hemlocks, as they're manicured, that are on the outside of the fencing encloses the ricocheted shots, the basketball from going over. It's an adjustable height basketball, and it's set up for juniors right now. So that basketball court is adjustable for juniors, so this way the basketballs, as asked by the board members, don't come flying out, nor do the ricochets of the hockey puck. The homeowner's application is also at a T intersection with 3 oncoming ways of traffic, and that's why, I believe according to the interview I had with the homeowner, that's why they built this in that location. It's not only the homeowner's children that play in this area, it's the neighborhood that's invited into it as well. So there is a safety concern.
I have a question for you. When you did your visual inspection of the neighborhood, you did your visual inspection of the neighborhood, and in your report, were there other homes that had similar types of basketball courts that were in front of the property?
There were other homes, I couldn't see what they had exactly, but there were other homes that had front fences of recreational areas in the front of their homes, and they're opined in my report.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Where's the report? I apologize. I
It's
know you
here.
sent it up.
I have a spare copy if you'd like.
If you need additional copies, we have additional copies.
It's okay. Mr. Litt, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, as it relates to the
The
porch,
report.
you probably said it, and I was still trying to calculate other things, so if I missed it, I
That's okay.
apologize. The change that's proposed on the porch relates to this, the line
side
of the
yard.
existing deck to be, so you're here to maintain what's there,
Yes.
which is the 5.1 and
On one side.
17,
She's got-
17, 5.1
got
side yard on that
marked it.
side, 17.3 aggregate. Now, that's fine, but then it says proposed is a change in that side yard, which is 5.9. So go from 5.1 to 5.9, and I see on the map, it says line of existing deck to be removed. So, just to clarify, so your proposal is to maintain what is there now, or
Yes.
to remove some portion?
There
The
was-
proposed is not what's there.
There was an original deck that was damaged due to a fire. They rebuilt the deck, and they covered it. And that's what led to the whole application process here.
So is there any portion, this note that says line of existing deck to be removed, is
Yes.
that already been done?
From what I understand, it has been removed. Yes, that's been confirmed by the architect,
Okay,
yes.
so what is existing now and is the same as what's proposed, it's the 5.9?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe you could just mark it on this? I just
Can
want it
you
to
mark
be
that
accurate when the building inspector pulls it out, So
Please do.
you would just
She
change
knows.
on this,
An initial as a
you
quarter.
know,
5-1 to
change the
5-9.
existing there, the proposed is the same as what exists, right? And this is already removed. In other words, this is exactly what you want to have
Yes,
there.
please.
And it's what is already there too.
Right.
There's no,
It's been removed. It's fine. Thank you.
see, this is existing.
Right.
5-1 and proposed is 5-9, but really existing is 5-9. Right, these two numbers should be in the existing column.
Right.
And then this note should just reflect that there's nothing further to be removed, that it's, that we're deliberating on what's exactly this.
In front of
It's
us.
already the existing.
All right, so what do you want me to
So I want you to change these numbers and initials to match those two, because what is existing is what is proposed, right?
All right.
And here, I want this note.
No, 5.9 is what we're, what's there now, currently. The
Correct.
5.1 was what was removed, so you want me to change,
Correct. I want-
so this one, you want me to
Yeah,
change
I want
to?
the existing and the proposed to be the same number in that graph, and I want this note to indicate whether you cross
Just
it
remove it,
out
right.
or write, whatever, maybe cross it out. All I care about is reflects that
Thank
what
you.
is there now is what's being requested.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And no, it just avoids confusion later.
Understood. Absolutely makes sense.
Okay, I apologize for disrupting.
No, that's okay, no problem. I believe, again, we're here just to add, at this point, I presented everything. We've put everything forth before the board, and,
I want to look, were you finished with your
Presentation.
testimony as to basically how it's similar and consistent with the character, et cetera? I mean, I feel like we interrupted you, and I apologize.
It's in line with the character of the neighborhood. If you look both east and west on the street, as per the photos in the presentation, the tree line of the hemlocks lines up with the tree line within the next two properties. To the east and to the west, the same thing appears. As far as the oncoming frontage or front view as you're driving, you also have a front view of the subject property. And it appears to be flush against the house. It's not as if it's sticking out and it's a sore thumb. It's offset enough to give it a facade of a
Yeah.
straight line across the front of the house.
I was just looking at this,
Yeah,
and it looks
that's
much better
exact-
from this
Right.
view, much less.
and just so you know, this very large blow-up here is Mark's Exhibit D in the report. So a much smaller version of it, so you'll actually have that in the report. It's just a blow-up of his Exhibit D, that's all.
I think it really boils down to a safety issue for the children with regards to maintaining what's there.
Thank you.
It's over to you.
Oh, wait, one last question. One last question. We've been mentioning how it seems like it better suited for that rear area, but as I look at the overhead, it's unclear to me, oh, that's not, one of the other pictures seemed to show the cover going all the way back there, but it's not, there is space back there. Okay, I have no further questions. I mean, it's just generally, it's kind of a heavy lift for us, so that's why I want to make sure you have an opportunity to tell us all the reasons why you really want to keep it there. I mean, I don't know how much expense was involved, but it looks like it wasn't cheap to construct.
Does that complete your
Yes, it does.
presentation? Any other questions from the board? I don't have to tell them that.
I move that the hearing be closed, the matter be placed on the decision calendar. Everyone who signed in on the case will receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's rendered. Thank you all.
I want to thank you very much for your patience today. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? I don't have to.
I'm going to steal one.
Our next case is 8424 Point Lookout. Terrence Reynolds, maintained shed with less than required side and rear yard setbacks and with lot area occupied variance, also known as 128 Lynbrook Avenue. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please be seated and state your name and address for the record.
Rebecca Manchuk, 143 East Park Ave. Long Beach, New York, representing Gallinero Design Architecture on behalf of our client. Good? Can you hear me? That good? Rebecca Manchuk, 143 East Park Ave, Long Beach, New York, representing Gallinero Design Architecture on behalf of our client Terrence Reynolds. We're requesting a variance for a side yard of 0 feet where we're allowed 2, and 2 feet in the rear yard we're allowed where we're requesting 1.4 feet. The shed fits within all the other requirements. It's 6'10" by 8'9" with a height of 8'4". Those are the only requests that I have before the board. Yes, sir.
Any other questions from the board? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Any
Thank you.
abstention? Get away, chief.
Next case, 8524 and 1376 of 24 near Valley Stream. OBC Okoro, variances, lot area occupied, front yard setback on Birchwood Drive West, rear yard construct addition, second-story addition, open porch and roofed over portico, all attached to dwelling, alteration and construction in excess of 50%, new CR required, maintain 6-foot-high vinyl fence and 7-foot-high living fence without clear sight triangle at neighbor's driveway, which may substantially obstruct line of sight, and living fence, a portion of which is forward of the dwelling on Birchwood Drive West, also known as 18 Birchwood Drive West. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please be seated and state your names and addresses for the record.
OBC Okoro, 18 Birchwood Drive West, Valley Stream, New York, 11580.
Arnold Montag, architect, 350 Northern Boulevard, Great Neck, 11021, Suite 322. You know, my only worry, Joe, I'm going, do I say good morning or good afternoon?
That's not accurate.
Close.
It is. That's always at 12 o'clock.
Before we get started, how long has your client owned the property?
11 years.
And when was the fire? And where have you been living since that time? Okay. There are, I was out, obviously, I went to the house. At the rear of the home, there's a set of hedges that seem to block any view of the driveway. I believe those hedges are on your neighbor's property. Is that correct? Because they're outside the rear fence.
Some hedges on mine.
The ones I'm referring to are not on Birchwood Drive South. They are the ones behind. Your neighbor comes out of his driveway and there are hedges. Those are not your hedges. They don't look like your hedges. Okay, all right, fine. I'm sorry, but go on with your presentation.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shoot with the good afternoon.
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Arnold Montag, architect, and this is my client, Obi Okoro. We're here seeking variances for the subject property at 18 Birchwood Drive West, Valley Stream. The premises are located in a residential A district, located on the east side of Birchwood Drive West, at the intersection of Birchwood Drive South. We're here for case number 85, as you know, the fire restoration of the building, which includes an addition to the building. And we are also here for case 1376, which has been combined today with this case 85, to maintain the living fence. Article, Residential A District requires a 25% lot coverage. However, we have a small negligible degree of variation from the law. We are only at 27.4%. It's a 6,802 square foot lot, which would allow at 25%, 1,700 square feet. We are over by only 164 square feet. That's about 2.7 square feet over. Oh, 27.4 total. Yeah, we're actually over 2.74. Residence A, 25% lot coverage zone. We also have a front yard variance where we require 30 feet. We have a principal and a secondary front yard, but we have it reduced to 29 feet along Birchwood Drive West.
What is it, 30 and a?
30, and we are 29, which we believe helps make the house not look like a box since it's a white house. So we're trying to break up that facade. And it only gives him a 10-foot sunroom, so less than that would be 9 feet, which is 10 feet's already difficult. 9 would be a lot worse. Go ahead. Okay, so we also have a rear yard variance, which is a little bit difficult. You have to look at the drawing on that one because it's a skewed lot line. And the existing one-story addition on that home was done many years ago, I believe back in the 1980s, with a variance. So we're looking to build right above that. We are not increasing the non-compliance or non-conformity of that. We will just build directly over it. Okay, we also have a proposed one-story front addition, a 12 by 24, like I said, which would create the 29-foot setback. Do you guys want to talk about this case, or do you want to speak about the living fence at the same time? Okay. So the fence should not exceed 6 feet in high. However, it is a living fence, and the hedges are probably around 7 feet there. But it is a strange case. They are on the town of Hempstead's property. They are beyond Mr. Coro's fence. We did speak to the Department of Transportation, or Highway Department, and they said they did not oppose it.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I know where, so I'm looking at
That's
the
the
regular.
southeast corner along Birchwood Drive South.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, looking at the non-living portion of the fence, I see it in the back, right? And it comes up to what is, forward of the one side toward Birchwood Drive South. That's the
Correct.
only portion that's forward of the dwelling as it relates to that fence, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now moving on to the living fence, I take it the portion that you're telling us is on the town property is the portion that's running between the regular fence and the Birchwood Drive South.
Correct.
And then the other portion,
What would normally be called like the sidewalk area, but there's no sidewalk here. So
Okay.
between the town, the town road, I guess, and Mr. Coral's property line.
so if we were to consider granting any portion of this request, like, let's do the living fence, we would be opining or deciding as to that portion of which is on the applicant's property. As it relates to the town property, if the town leaves that there, the town leaves it there, like, we can't grant a variance to keep it there, but we also, we don't need to send someone to take it down.
Right.
So the living fence that we would be deciding on is the portion that's on the applicant's property. And I just want to see, you also need relief, because it doesn't have a clear sight triangle at the neighbor's driveway.
Right, and that's the tricky thing. They don't.
A portion of which is forward, okay. So, wait, there's a portion of the fence that you're seeking relief, forward of the dwelling on Birchwood Drive West. Where is that portion? Just that, living fence, a portion, so there, the relief for the living fence, this is the living fence relief, right?
That's on town property. This is on town.
That, but this part,
Just that.
yeah, is the living, because that's the only portion that's forward on dwelling. Okay, and now I just want to find the neighbors, the three.
The neighbor's driveway is here.
Can I bring you up a photo?
So, and you cannot see it. The neighbor's driveway is lined with bushes
Hold on, show me here.
that are on the neighbor's property.
So the neighbor's driveway is like right
Right
here,
here.
further in, or
No, right there.
like that?
No. Right here.
Okay, hold on. So the neighbor's driveway is here, and right there we have, it's a regular
Leaves do not block any view.
correct.
The neighbor has,
His or her own bushes right here.
that block the view.
So,
See that?
let me take this, John.
You can see.
I'd say it's approximately 10 feet. To the curb.
Move that the hearing be closed and the matter be placed on the decision calendar. You will both receive a copy of the board's decision by mail once it's in. Thank you, and sorry you had to wait so long.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstention? None?
None.
Okay,
Oh, aye.
that'd be a nice idea. All right, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Enjoy your day.
Roughly how long for the resolution to be received?
Some votes are taken this afternoon, others may take a while. You
Is
can,
there a
you can
sense
call the office.
Only because there's the fire, I just wanted to get it back into the building department for the
You
regular.
can call the office tomorrow to see if we've made a decision.
We can
You can call the office. I would.
Okay, I'll make a motion. Wait. Yeah, oh, we closed it. Mr. Chairman, I move that we reopen the hearing and cases number 85 of 2024 and 1376 of 2024 near Valley Stream, Obesio Cora. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong.
Obi.
Obi, affecting the property at 18 Birchwood Drive West in Valley Street. I move that we reopen that.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions?
With that, Mr. Chairman,
Next motion.
I move, as it relates to the cases I previously named, 85 of 2024, 1376 of 2024, that the cases be approved as requested with potential conditions to be drafted by council.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We don't usually do that, sir, so good luck.
Greatly appreciate it.
We just have a second call for case 6724 to 6924 Wantor, Hassett, Lincoln Mercury Sales Incorporated.
This is just, do we have to, because this is 67 through 69, well, we have to adjourn it because it's 68. Because the building department inspected the premises and not in compliance with all of the conditions previously imposed by the board. We are going to adjourn this case. Give me a date. I'm sorry.
March 27th at 9:30?
Sounds reasonable.
Yep. And let me show you something. It might be a non-event, but we're not sure. So there's 3 cases, and they always do met all conditions.
right. We're going to do decisions for the morning calendar. 66 of 2024 Baldwin, Sherry Ryan. Do I have, there was an appearance waiver that was granted. Do we have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 66 of 24 Baldwin, Sherry Ryan be approved as requested with the normal fence conditions.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 67 through 69 of 2024. That case has been adjourned to 3/27, March 27th at 9:30, since the applicant didn't know he was on for the party today. Case number 70 of 2024, South Hempstead, Spartan Petroleum Corporation. The applicant made, I believe he said the grant
5
should be
years.
given 5 years, but it's a 5-year grant, is it
Well,
not?
that's going to be my
Yeah.
motion.
So go right ahead. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, with regard to case 70 of 2024, Spartan Petroleum Corp., 470 Grand Avenue, South Hempstead, I move that the application be granted as requested temporarily 5 years with the usual and previous conditions.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 71 of 2024, Merrick, Greg Hassenbein. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
Hold on. Oh, okay, go ahead, Joe.
Did you have any comments?
No, mine's for the next one.
I move that case 71, 2024, Craig Hasselbein at 1933 Brook Park Drive in Merrick be granted as requested.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 72 of 2024, Baldwin Rocio Salguero. Do I have any discussion from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I'm not in favor of the cellar entrance.
That's it? Other than that?
Well, there was a shed to be removed too.
The house appears, I'm just not in favor of that. That's, I'll just leave it at
Okay, so would you like to make a formal motion?
that. Okay.
With respect to case 72 of 2024, location 871 Clay Street, I would like to say that the shed should be removed and that the cellar entrance, the constructed two-story be granted and the cellar entrance denied.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, next case, 84 of 2024, Point Lookout. Terrence Reynolds is the applicant, 128 Lindbrook Avenue. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a
Wait,
motion?
what page are you on?
Christina?
You're on the wrong page. Just skip
We
the
did?
page.
Oh, wait a minute.
Page 2.
Like this.
Sorry.
This is the one that got me riled up.
Correction.
311.1.
Case 73 of
Can you just make sure they have the
2024,
fence that
William Sweeney and Katia Sepp, maintain pool equipment,
problematic, but it's
1895 Helen Court. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 73 of 24 in Merrick, William Sweeney and Katadia Sepia at 1895 Helen Court be approved as requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions? Next case is 74 and 75 Seaford. Eric and Samantha Vallely. Do I have any discussion?
Yes, I have some, and I'll make a motion also.
Okay.
Originally, we had discussed them dismissing and or withdrawing the request to maintain the 4-foot-high improper pool closure because there is an alternative, the amended proposal to put the 6-foot fence all the way down the side yard. So they agreed to that, but as I looked at it again, I think that there's a possibility, as a sort of a technicality, that even though putting the 6-foot fence all the way down the side yard till it gets to the water, that would provide the kind of protections and even greater than we need as it relates to enclosing that pool so safely. I think there's a possibility that if the building inspector went out and saw that the pool enclosure was still 4 feet without relief granted, even though we have the extra protection by the 6, then it might cause an administrative issue. So I think that we should grant the maintain 4-foot-high pool enclosure in the places shown, with the condition that the 6-foot fence also be placed down the way described and agreed to by the applicant.
Second.
But the 6-foot fence totally encloses the pool, and the 4-foot fence becomes academic.
It's kind of
It doesn't totally enclose the pool, because it's still not one across the back.
Neither is this 4-foot fence.
Right, but the
On the
4-foot foot is the
bulkhead
rest. But the 4-foot fence, see, if it was just a 4-foot like that, with the land over here, I wouldn't find that to provide the safety that is, that's envisioned. But once he keeps that as an enclosure 4-foot and puts this down 6
Because
feet,
there's nothing on the bulkhead.
if there was, yeah, so he still needs relief for the back part.
Good point.
So
Got it.
okay, so
Second-
anyway,
Second that motion.
thank you.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions?
Because you can
Okay.
see the
No,
inspector going out there.
No, I get it.
Cases 76 and
And I
77
ran out
in
there and
Elma.
told them that, I'm
Any,
rethinking it.
any discussion on this one? Besides, they're having to remove the second meter?
Yeah.
I mean, I have some issues because, and I don't know how to resolve them. I don't have, not that I'm entitled to my opinion, but I don't have a problem now that they've removed everything from the basement. However, in light of the testimony that the guy has owned the place for a long time and he illegally rented it before, and in my humble opinion, the likelihood of that happening again is pretty substantial. So, I mean, I won't stop him from asking the relief that he's requesting now. However, what do we do with respect to subsequent inspections by the building department? Because I have a funny feeling we're gonna revisit that issue.
Well, what if we, look at, he's asking to construct additional space in something that we have reason to believe has been used
Used
in
illegally.
contravention of the allowable use. What if we send, this was this Kennedy's case? I'm just trying to remember which case it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if we,
It's good to have a young
is this the
mind.
one that I asked Tina if she'd been in there and she took a picture of the basement?
Yeah.
Yes,
And
gave
the
the
basement,
picture.
all the walls were removed.
And is
was
this the
gutted.
one that has a second, 2 kitchens already? Let's see.
Yep. It had 2 kitchens, now they're asking
three
for a mother-daughter.
No, this isn't asking for a mother-daughter. I'm so
Yes,
confused.
it is.
With
76.
two
Katora.
people,
Oh, thank you.
76
That's
and
why I was
77.
confused.
Gotta hone in on this.
there were 2 people that lived in the house, too.
Yes.
Okay, I know the
Yeah,
one
The
exactly.
Son
mother,
and the
mother and the son.
So this is the one that used to have 3 kitchens?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
kosher kitchen.
Plus 2.
Well, I mean, what, Pangelo said those pictures were taken recently, because I'm
Yeah,
thinking, what would the building
Well,
department do?
what happens 6 months or a year from now?
I don't disagree.
And how do we,
Well, that's part of the mother-daughter thing. No.
But he's one person.
We already know what it is, that's my point. So what is the solution? I'm trying to figure out what we
Impose
do.
a condition that it's,
They're subject to verification.
Not when,
and they'll verify, and then they're gonna put in the
Because it's
kitchen
going to be
all over
a
again.
legal third
Yeah.
of our attention.
right. Frankly, you know.
Oh, my question is, don't you think mother and son are gonna live together and rent the other place?
That's exactly what's gonna happen. Joe, can you turn that off?
Okay.
All right,
But my
we're gonna
thinking-
hold that for the afternoon.
Yeah, let's hold it. And
PM.
also, is there a way, frankly, we
Yeah,
could go
is-
sit, we
that
could,
is just
frankly,
the
we
point.
could wait a month from now and go sit outside there and watch how many people
6
live there.
months, 6 months. And do it every 6 months. Send them,
We'll come up with what kind
send
of
the people,
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that they were issued citations.
they work.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
work.
That's why they're here.
Yeah, and when I asked him one or more, or, he said he got a complaint, and I said, oh, okay, you didn't need something, oh, I got something. And I was gonna ask him, but John didn't stop
Can
talking.
we,
I was gonna
can
ask
we
him what
approve
the
it,
status of.
subject to periodic inspections by the building department?
And it's a no based in light of the history of this
Yeah,
facility.
I think that's part of the agreement, that they're allowed to show up if they want, right?
Well, that's right, let me double check the.
Yeah,
Also,
okay, PM, PM.
All right.
Can you look on the courts and see if there's any cases on that?
Sure, I mean,
Heather Medica.
That's the one that I thought was Miss
No, this is the 85 square foot extension.
Kennedy.
This one was, well, any discussion from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
My turn? Go ahead, Joe.
So it's your turn.
Go ahead, because
I move that case 78 of 2024, Heather Medica at 352 Hamilton Avenue in West Hempstead be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Next case, 79 of 24, Belmore, Evelyn Paknos and Konstantinos Kontogianis.
Whoa,
Like that, huh?
Kim should have
Any
done that.
discussion from the board members? If not, do I have a motion?
I move case 79 of 2024, location 2013 Charles Street in Belmore be granted as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Case 80 of 2024, Levittown, Thomas and Shannon Piccioni. Any discussion? This is the one where it's a renewal, a rehearing of a case, permits weren't picked up on time.
Yes, someone do it.
The applicant's representative testified that it was exactly what was approved the first time around. Any discussion?
Did we incorporate it?
We will when we grant it.
Yeah.
I move that case 84 of 2022, Thomas and Sharon.
80.
Oh, gosh, you're right.
Looks like I'm rubbing off.
Piccioni at, where is this? 119 Sprucewood Drive be granted with the exact same conditions that were imposed in a previous grant under case 369, 2021.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Case 81 of 2024, Jean Sorowick has been adjourned to March 27, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Cases 82 and 83 of 2024 near Valley Stream. I will inspect that. It's in your safe zone, huh? Okay. Case 84 of 2024, Point Lookout, Terrence Reynolds. Do we have any discussion? If not, do we have a motion?
I move case 84 of 2024, Point Lookout, Terrence Reynolds, located at 128 Lincoln Avenue, be approved as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? Cases 85 of 2024 and 1376, how the hell did they do that? Of 2024, near Valley Stream was approved from the bench.
And as a note, I spoke with counsel so that we can, this case is unique in our allowing that fence without the cutout for the neighbor's driveway. She's going to put together the bulk of our analysis as it
Right.
relates to why this is unique and carries very little precedential value for other similar, other seemingly similar but not similar applications.
Is it unique or unit?
You're the unit.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we're done for right now, so we can
Okay.
go lunch. Yes.
That concludes the morning session. Can I get somebody to make a motion that we adjourn until 2 p.m.?
I move to adjourn.
What a gal.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention?
All right, let's go.